Hello and welcome back to part 3 of If a Billionaire Invested in Serbia. Today we've gone 5 years into the future since we were from last episode to 2030, and we'll also go a further 5 years into the future as well, so we'll go 10 years in total in this episode. Now I think this is going to be the last episode of this investigation, but in case you really want some more episodes, if this video gets 15 likes in 24 hours or so, then I'll do one more episode where we go 10 years into the future. So if we head over to the Serbian Super League, we'll have a look at what's going on over there then, shall we? So Serbian Super League is now 9th overall in competition rankings. That's pretty decent. That's quite good. There must be some good European showings in there. They've really made some leaps and bounds. They stagnated a little bit, 15th, 17th, 17th, went up to the 14th, then had a huge leap up to 10th, now up to 9th, overtaking the Russian Premier League and the Dutch Eredivisie, which has gone down quite a bit, to be fair, by looks of things. I'm sure it used to be higher. If we look at who's won the league then, we'll go on to stages, and we'll go back to the 2025 season. Which is this one here, and you can see Kukuriki won the championship that year. If we go all the way into the final phases, we can see who came where overall. So Kukuriki won it, Partizan second, Predak third, Red Star finishing fourth. So we gave them all an extra billion at the end of last episode, so clearly that sort of worked for Red Star, because they were down here, they were nearly getting relegated, which was pretty bad for them. Season after that, Partizan retained the title, winning it again on it must have been games, head-to-head games, because they got the same points, same goal difference. They scored less goals, but it must have been head-to-head contest, so that's why Partizan beating the Predak and Red Star finishing third. Kukuriki, the previous champion, is finishing down in fourth. If we go to the next season then, Kukuriki then came back and won the title, this time on 42 points, so no team getting as many points, and Partizan finishing down in sixth. They had a very poor season, something must have gone wrong for them. Radniki and Rad finishing off the top three, that's quite interesting. A season into the future again, Predak winning it, Partizan coming back to finish second, but it wasn't enough for them, as Predak finished first on 49 points. Red Star, by the way, finishing down in 9th place overall, first in Group B, but they had a poor season there. That was quite... I mean, if you look at the points, it was unlucky. They must have just finished outside those top points, because they finished on 36 points in the end, which, if they had been in this group, would have put them in fourth, but because they're playing some of the rubbish teams, they just got a load of points. They must have won all their games, really, so... That's kind of how the Serbian League works, and you could say it's unfair, but it's just the luck of a draw, really, and where you finish. Season after that, Kukuriki once again winning the league. They seem to become a bit of a dominant force at the moment. They're pretty decent. Rad finishing second and the Predak finishing third. Rad slowly making their way up the table. I reckon it's just a matter of time before they start to win the league. Partizan finishing fourth and Red Star upping their game and finishing sixth this season, but still not enough, and I reckon that's probably outside the European competition. And that's it. We're going to this next season, so... As you can see, if you look at the past winners then, it's been Partizan all the way until the past 6 years, where it's just changed hands a little bit. Kukuriki winning 3, Predak winning 2, Partizan winning 1, but, you know, the days of Partizans just winning it every year seems to have disappeared. So if we look at the rules quickly as well, we can see European qualification places. One team gets into the Champions League group stage and one gets into the best place for the playoff phase. So there's only 2 teams still going to the Champions League, but 3 teams going to the Euro Cup, which is quite interesting. However, I didn't see this last time, which must mean there is financial fair play. If you fail your licence, that is, you fail the financial fair play. So these teams, although they're mega rich, they just are losing money. They can't make any profit, so they're losing money because of the amount of wages they're paying. So Partizan, Rad, Kukuriki and Vodvodak are all excluded from European competitions at the moment because they just can't get their financial fair play in order. So that's why you'll see, like, some seasons Partizan are in it, they win the league, and they're not in it. So I think that's what we came to the conclusion to last episode. I think that has been confirmed for us now, that it's just they are losing financial fair play. So if we look at the Champions League, we'll see if anyone's making it through into the knockout stages. You can see Atletico Madrid, the most recent winners of it. That's quite interesting. Right, so if we go back 5 years, we can see that in this first season, no one made it into the Champions League, which is the knockout stages, that is. That's a bit annoying. Season afterwards, again, no one's making it in there, which isn't great. Third season along, and again, there's no Serbian teams there, so they're just not making it through, clearly. Obviously, they've got the money to be able to bring in some players, but they just can't seem to get there. Fourth season along, again, no one's making it, which is really, really frustrating. And the season afterwards, again, no one's there, but a nice appearance for PSV and Ajax in the knockout stages. That's quite interesting for the Dutch teams. So let's look at the European Cup instead, Europa League. We'll go back 5 seasons. We'll go back to the first knockout round. And as we can see in this first season, Kukurika are in there, but they get knocked out to Tottenham. And I think that's it for the Serbian teams in this. I did miss one out last time. Last time I said it was only Red Star that got into this, that they did there. But the season before that, Napredak also got in, but they lost to Valencia. I just missed it because I wasn't really looking hard enough, as you can tell. But the season after that, obviously Kukuriki in there, so the season after that, 4 seasons ago, no one... Partizan made it in there, but they lost to Ajax, which is a bit unfortunate for them. Season after that, Kukuriki once again making it in there, but losing 7-1 on aggregate to PSG. That's quite a tough draw, to be fair. I feel a bit sorry for them. But after that, there's no other teams from Serbia in this stage of the competition. Napredak made it in this time, but they lost 5-2 to Lazio this season. Are there any other Serbian teams in there? Yes, Radniki are in there, but they lost 5-0 to Wolfsburg on aggregate. So they're making it through the group stages, clearly, but just can't seem to do much about it after they get there. And then the season we've just had, are there any Serbian teams? And then the Predak got there and they beat Dynamo Kiev on aggregate, so they went through to the second knockout round, which is interesting. Let's look at the second knockout round, where they played against Lille, but they lost 4-1 on aggregate, unfortunately, and that was the end of their European Cup run. But that is the furthest Serbian team's gone in recent years, and that's incredible. So well done to the Predak. Obviously, they've still got national reputation, not quite continental yet, but I think in a couple of years' time they will have continental status. So if we look at Partizan, they've had a bit of a fall from grace in the league slightly, but we'll see if they're making it into Europe or they're constantly failing financial fair play, because if they are, that is absolutely rubbish. If we go back to the 2025-26 season, they must have failed financial fair play there because they lost. They're not in any competitions there. The season afterwards, they're in the Euro Cup, interestingly, and they get into the group stages, where they face Braga, Zoya and Galatasaray. Did they get through that? They can't. No, they mustn't. They must absolutely blow it, because they seem to win a few games, but they just can't seem to get through. They must have finished third. In fact, no, they got into it. I mean, what we're talking about, this is the year they got through, isn't it? I'm being silly. This is when they lost to Ajax, so that was interesting. Season afterwards, in the Champions League again, but they're in the Group B, but playing against Monaco, Juventus and Ajax. It looks like that's probably a bit too much for them. They seem to have lost most of the games there, so didn't qualify further there. They didn't get third or anything, did they? No. Season after that, must have failed financial fair play, because I can't see any European football in the competition column. Season after that, must have failed it again, because they're still not there in the competition columns. And the season, that's it, we're back into this season now, and we're not in it again this year, so they must be failing financial fair play all the time now. Let's have a look at their finances and just have a look at how much money they've got. They've only got 300 million left. They are spending left, right and centre. Let's look at their transfers. Transfer history. So they've scaled back their spending, because they were spending over 100 million at some point. They sold 14 million worth of players though, so made a bit of profit there. Season before, 38 million, 114 million, 21 million, 57 million, and 32 million. They are spending an awful lot of money, and we're not bringing in that much money, if I'm honest with you. The deficit there is huge, so no wonder they're failing financial fair play. Again, that's quite a big deficit for a club that's probably not going to fill its stadium week in, week out, because I don't know why, but the Serbian fans in this game don't really seem to turn out. Even when I had Red Star playing Partizan, I wouldn't get a full stadium, which I think is bonkers. So let's look at Kukuriki then. They seem to be a bit of a European... They seem to be a bit of a Serbian powerhouse at the moment in these past couple of years, so they must have been getting into European competitions. Obviously they failed financial fair play because they're not in anything this year. But if we go back to the 2025-26 season, they were in the Euro Cup there, getting into the group stages, but obviously getting knocked out against Fiorentina, Sparta Prague, Olympiacos. Season afterwards, they're in the Champions League, but looks like they lost out to Atletico Madrid, Dortmund, and Sporting. That's quite a tough group, to be fair, for them. So I'm surprised. I'm surprised they only lost 1-0 and those kind of things. They should have been hammered, really, I suppose. Season after that, in the Euro Cup, once again, I think this may win where they got through one time. Yes, they did. So they got through their group but lost to PSG. So in their group, they had Bursaspor, PSV, and Seville. So obviously they did well to get through a group. Actually, I'm quite impressed with them there. Season after that, back in the Champions League after they must have won the league, I think. They're in the Champions League Group C against Chelsea, Napoli, and Olympique Lyon. So yeah, it's quite a tough group. I'm surprised. They did well there. Well, they didn't really do very well. They didn't get anything. They came bottom of their group by the looks of things. And then, of course, last season must have failed financial fair play because they're not in any competitions there. So it's very interesting to see how the teams have done. I'm not going to give them any more money. I'm going to leave it as it is, and hopefully that might sort out some financial fair play. I thought giving them more money might sort it out, but clearly that's not helped. So maybe if they don't spend any money, they've got less money, so they're not going to spend as much. There'll be a smaller profit-loss margin, and teams won't be failing financial fair play so frequently. So maybe in 5 years' time we'll see Partizan actually being in Champions League or European football every single season. So we're going to go 5 years into the future now and see how they've done. So 5 years has passed, and as you can see, if you look at the competition reputation, something has gone seriously wrong. They maintained the 90th place position for a while before dropping down to 16th. So something's clearly gone wrong for them. Clearly no one's been doing very well in Europe. So we have to find out what's gone wrong there. If we look at the league though to start off with, and we go back to the 30-31 season, as you can see, the Predak won the league there. They got in total 44 points after the groups are split up, with Ride and Partizan making up second and third. Red Star finishing all the way down in 10th overall. I mean, that is second in that group, but they're finishing quite far down. They don't do very well at all. The year afterwards, the Predak winning the title once again. They seem to be the dominant force now. Partizan finishing down to 7th. Red Star recovering and finishing in 3rd, but they're just not really where they should be. Neither are Partizan at the moment. They've seen have a bit of a fall from grace. Season after that, and the Predak once again winning it. They are clearly the best team in Serbia at the moment. Vojvodina finishing second there. It's probably one of their best finishes. They've not won a title yet, but they probably should do at some point. Year after that, Mladost won. Red Star finishing second, level on points with Vojvodina. Partizan down in 4th. And then the season after that, the Predak once again reclaiming their title. Partizan finishing second, a bit better off, but still not quite where they want to be on top of the table. So the Predak have now won 6 Serbian Super League titles, all since we started this experiment. So they've done pretty well. They've won 3 Serbian Cups. And in fact, we'll look at the Serbian Cup, shall we? We've not seen who's been winning that in the past couple of years. It's blimey, it's gone to all different teams. Vojvodina have won it a few times. And the Predak, Partizan have won it a lot. Red Star, Kukuriki. I mean, there's all sorts of teams. Metalak won it. That's quite nice to see that Metalak have won that, and they've got a good win there. So if we look at the Champions League now to see how teams have done, no one's really made it very far, have they? I don't think anyone's made it into the knockout stages yet. And if we're looking here, this year, in the 30-31 season, no one's made it. Season after that, again, no Serbian team. I can see a trend coming here as no Serbian teams in this year. All the year after that, all the season we just had. So clearly, all the money has never made an impression in the Champions League. They've just never been able to get up there, unfortunately. If we go down to the Euro Cup then and have a look, we go back to the 30-31 season and cycle along to the first knockout round. You can see here that the Predak won their tie in the first knockout round. Did anyone else make it in? Doesn't look like it. So if we look at the second knockout round, the Predak lost to Seville 3-2 on aggregate. That's unfortunate. They won their home leg, but they just couldn't win away from home, which is very unfortunate. If we go to the next year then, we can see that once again the Predak made it through. They beat Galatasaray 4-2 on aggregate. That's quite nice to see. Partizan also made it through, but they lost to PSV Eindhoven. No other Serbian team made it that year, but let's have a look at the second knockout round then. The Predak lost to Juventus. That's unfortunate, that is. They were close, to be fair. They lost 2 on aggregate, so season after that, it doesn't look like any other Serbian teams made it through. It looks like no one's got through there in the first knockout round. Season afterwards, once again, I can see no Serbian team, which must mean that no Serbian team got through this round. That's why they've dropped down so far. They're just doing rubbish in Europe again. No one's making it through, and that's probably why they're down in 15th overall. If we look at the rules then, can we see who has been... Oh, blimey, a lot of teams have failed in financial fair play. That's why they're not allowed into the European competitions. The Predak, obviously the best. Partizan, probably second best overall. They're not allowed in, so the 2 best teams in Serbia aren't allowed to compete because they just can't get their finances under control. And as you can see, as a result of slipping down the rankings, continental qualification has gone down. So only 1 team qualifies for the Champions League and 2 teams qualify for the Euro Cup, but very initial qualifying rounds. So no wonder teams aren't getting through. If we look at the Predak then, let's look at their finances. I mean, they've still got 300 million, but I guess they're just spending too much money. I mean, they've only got a 12,000 seater stadium. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's... If you look at that, that's still their old one. It was rebuilt in 2012, but they've not built a new stadium, and you would have thought that they would have done, at some point. If you look at their transfers then over the past couple seasons, and we go to transfer history, that's what we're on. So we go back to last season, they spent 18, but only brought in 8, 23, and they sold 40, so they should be making money really. I'm surprised that they're failing financial fair play so much. They just must not get any fans in, or sponsorship must be rubbish. Again, well, spent 87 million that season and only sold 8, so they have got some big deficits in previous seasons, but I guess the money is just running dry a little bit and they haven't got enough money to cover themselves. If we look at Partizan's transfer history, they're still bringing in a lot of players for a lot of money, and they're still not selling an awful lot. 115 million spent that season, spread out on quite a few different players, so they have a high turnover of players by the looks of things. That's probably not the best thing really, but a lot of players coming in from other teams in Serbia, which is interesting to see. So perhaps there's good talent being produced in Serbia. I think if we go and look at the club details, see how much money they've got, 118 million, so not an awful lot after that billion they got. But if we look at their facilities have gone up since, I remember, I think we accidentally clicked on this on the very first episode and facilities were a little bit less than this. So they have made improvements, but not massively, if I'm honest with you. And if we look at the stadiums, I don't think anyone has actually built a new stadium. Maybe Vozvidak, that looks like a bit of a Football Manager's name. That was 2013, so maybe they haven't. I really don't think anyone's built new stadiums, so I guess the fans aren't coming either, maybe. I don't know. If we look at Red Star, for example, I'm clicking on the wrong thing there, Red Star. If we go to their schedule, if we go to a typical game last season in the Serbian Super League, for example, only 36,000 out of 55,000 seater stadium. That's rubbish. They should be getting more fans than that if they're going to be, making money to not fail financial fair play. So I think by looks of things, the experiment might be over if they're just going downhill like that. As I said though, if we get enough likes on this video in 24 hours, I will do another episode. I think I'll give them all another billion and we'll go 10 years into the future and see what happens, but I don't think much is going to happen in the future now. So if you've enjoyed the video, please do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and I will see you next time.